It having reached the hour of 5:30, I am calling the October 4th, 2022 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Gutierrez-Brayton.
Here.
Councilmember Madrigal. Councilmember Ricky.
Here.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Here. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, followed by the invocation from Lynette Crace, pastor of Emmanuel Lutheran Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Source of all that is good. Thank you for this day filled with possibility and blessing, and now for the ability to gather for this meeting. We ask your presence in this room tonight. We ask for your leading and guiding. As the council sets about to do the work you've called them to do, inspire open conversation, determined listening, and careful deliberation. We ask your blessing upon this group of committed servants and upon the people of this city as they work together on the issues before them. We ask all this in your gracious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Right. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Just a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes, and we have blue speaker cards out in the lobby.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest?
No.
Right. Seeing none, the first item of business is acknowledgments and presentation. I have a presentation of proclamation proclaiming October 2022 as Hindu American Awareness and Appreciation Month, and I would like to read the proclamation. The city of Modesto and the nation have been influenced by the extraordinary cultural, ethnic, linguistic, and religious diversity of its Hindu American residents. The year 2022 marks the 129th anniversary of when Hinduism was officially introduced to the United States by Swami Vivekananda. I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but there we go. At the 1893 World's Parliament of Religions in Chicago, Illinois, and the 122nd anniversary of when he founded the Vedanta Society in San Francisco, California in 1900. And Hindus are primarily an immigrant community and first started immigrating to the United States in the early 1900s. And most Hindu immigrants have come to the United States as students in search of better economic opportunities or to unite with family members, while others have arrived in this country after facing religious persecution in their countries of origin. Hindu Americans have greatly enriched our higher education university systems by teaching numerous students, especially in the academic fields of astrophysics, computer science, engineering, law, planetary science, psychology, and neuroscience. And a majority of Hindu Americans are in high-skill occupations. And Hindu Americans share the entrepreneurial spirit of America and contribute to economic vitality, growth, and well-being. And Hindu Americans have particularly excelled in the areas of business, law, politics, information technology, medicine, and science. And Hindu Americans now serve in various levels of government across the state and nation, including 3 members in the United States House of Representatives. And Hindu Americans celebrate numerous holidays and festivals, such as Diwali, which celebrates the victory of good over evil and knowledge over ignorance. And Hindu Americans promote the ideals of tolerance, pluralism, and religious freedom, which are inherent to their beliefs, and respect the diversity of all faiths. Now, therefore, the Modesto City Council does hereby proclaim the month of October 2022 as Hindu American Awareness and Appreciation Month and recognizes and acknowledges the significant contributions made by Hindu Americans and seeks to increase awareness and understanding of the Hindu American community. And with us this evening, we have Dr. Mehul Raval and a group of community members. Welcome, if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor Zwali, if I pronounce it right. And, you know, somehow that proclamation is exactly the speech I had prepared. So I guess there's not much to add. You know, it is clearly the oldest religion in the world, founded somewhere between 15 and 5 BCE. Currently has a following of about 1.2 billion people globally. 0.7% of the country is Hindu, and California has 2% incidence of, you know, practicing Hindus. In the valley, Modesto, I think, has about 500 families. Modesto and the surrounding areas. If you include Stockton and Tracy, we should be a total of maybe 2,000 of us, and I know each one of them by name. So I'm a active member of the community. And yes, like you said, they came here for education. The postgraduate rate currently for Hindus is about 50%. So half of us, you know, seek and complete post-graduation. So, you know, all this loss of hair is because of education, nothing else. And if anyone is interested in the, you know, in Hindu food or in any Hindu events locally, I think Kathy has my contact information. Please reach out. This is one of our most festive months. We have Diwali coming up in like 3 weeks, and you know, you'll find people dressed in the colorful clothes and going for, you know, parties and celebrations, and the food is really good. So if anyone is interested, reach out to Kathy. She'll get in touch with me. I just want to put my cell phone number out in the council. So if you're interested, I'll be happy to, you know, introduce you and, you know, take you on a little culinary adventure, because food is what actually connects most of us, right?
Right, thank you.
And yes, there have been recently, as media coverage increases, there have been some cases of, you know, quote unquote Hindu phobia stuff, but I think that incidence is not more than what would happen as a general, you know, crime. So there is crime happening around us. When it happens to a small minority of us, it's kind of more pronounced. So a lot of DAs are filing hate crime charges because we are smaller than the smallest minority in the country, 0.7%. So generally speaking, we would say the general population, be nice to us. We are peace-loving, you know, studying most of the time. And thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here this evening. Are there any comments from council members?
Have you had any interaction with any Indian/Hindus before, or nothing?
Oh, yes, and
That's why-
at the hospital and the workplace.
Okay, if anyone's interested, reach out.
For
You know,
sure.
even if it's a 15-20-minute coffee, it's, you know, we'll get you some good chai latte, and we can talk about it. So.
Maybe if there's some event in particular that you would like to have.
Oh
us
yes,
attend,
there is.
then-
Actually, there's one on this weekend.
Yeah,
on
like
the
you
8th.
mentioned, give that to Kathy, and then it gets on our calendars, and we'll be
Yes,
aware.
yes, we invite you to that. Sure.
Okay, great. Thank
And-
you very
and can
much,
I
and
get
we're
a-
going to come down and take a picture.
Okay.
I'll be hungry about 8 o'clock tonight.
Okay, there we go. Well, did you have another comment you were going to make before? Okay, we'll be right down to take a picture. Yes, we're doing that next. Yes, we're recognizing domestic violence. And next.
Okay, what are you doing then? Anyone else too?
Yeah, come. They have the COVID use. Everyone is ready. Here. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
All right, item 2 is a presentation of proclamation proclaiming October 2022 as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I will read the proclamation. Domestic violence is a national health problem affecting approximately 10 million people in the United States each year, making it the single most common source of injury to survivors. More common than automobile accidents, muggings, and rape by a stranger combined. And domestic violence crosses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and societal barriers, violating a person's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity through a pattern of abusive behavior to control and dominate, causing victims to fear for their safety and well-being. Abusive behavior can be physical, sexual, emotional, verbal, social, economic, psychological, or spiritual. And domestic violence can have long-term damaging effects on victims and their families, including the over 3 million children nationwide who are exposed to domestic violence each year. And leaving a domestic violence situation is not easy and is often dangerous. 75% of women victims are seriously injured when they leave or try to leave an abusive relationship. And in the U.S., domestic violence hotlines receive around 20,000 calls each day. Victims deserve compassion, comfort, healing, and access to medical and legal services, counseling, transitional housing, and other services to escape the cycle of abuse and to hold their perpetrators accountable. And requests for services such as emergency shelter, housing, transportation, childcare, and legal representation often cannot be provided because programs lack the resources to meet victims' needs. The need for safe houses remains survivors' most urgent need, and domestic violence can be prevented through the collective voice and power of individuals, families, institutions, and systems working together toward this common goal. The City of Modesto supports this goal and joins with communities and organizations across the state and nation in proclaiming that we stand against domestic violence. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2022 Domestic Violence Awareness Month and encourage our citizens to honor domestic violence survivors, remember those who died as a result of domestic violence, help raise awareness of the prevalence and impact of domestic violence in our community, support local organizations that provide domestic violence crisis response, recovery, and prevention services, and join with us in helping to end domestic violence in our community. We have with us Kathleen Rowe Glendon, a donor engagement specialist with the Haven Women's Center. Please step up and make your remarks. Welcome.
Thank you very much. This is much appreciated. Haven has been addressing the impact of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking in Stanislaus County since 1977 in one iteration or another. That's a long time. Each year, Haven serves over 2,000 survivors of gender-based violence, and we focus on immediate safety, personal empowerment, and we educate over 1,000 individuals and entities in the community on what gender-based violence involves and how they can help end it. Haven services are provided free of charge. We don't charge for anything. It doesn't matter who comes in the door, doesn't matter what their income level is or what their situation is. We do not charge for our services. We do not discriminate against anybody that comes in and identifies as a victim of gender-based violence. We provide services. It doesn't matter gender identity or expression, sexual orientation, or any immigration status. As a nonprofit, we are dependent on community involvement and community support in order for us to be able to do what we do in the community. And we would like to do more. So to that end, I invite you to go check out our website. We do have an event coming up the end of this month called Kick Up Your Heels, which is basically to benefit our shelter and our housing clients, which there's a definite need there. And I am honored and privileged to be here on behalf of an organization that I love, that I've been with for 10 years. I can't tell you how much this means to us, and thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Any comments from council members at this time? All right, we will step down to present the proclamation to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sure. No, yes, you got the camera. Thank you. All righty. Item 3 is the presentation of proclamation proclaiming October 9th through 15th, 2022 as Fire Prevention Week in the City of Modesto. So I will read the proclamation. The City of Modesto is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Modesto, and fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally. And homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And Modesto residents should have appropriately working smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms in their home, and make sure everyone in the house knows how to call 911 or the local emergency number from a cell phone or a neighbor's phone. And Modesto residents who have planned and practiced learning the sounds of a smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm are more prepared and more likely to survive a fire. And Modesto first responders remain dedicated to reducing the occurrence of house fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2022 Fire Prevention Week theme, Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape, effectively serves to remind us that we need to take personal steps to increase our safety from fires. Now, therefore, the Modesto City Council does hereby proclaim October 9th through 15th, 2022 as Fire Prevention Week in the City of Modesto, and encourage all people throughout the city to be aware of their surroundings, look for available ways out in the event of a fire or other emergency, respond when the smoke alarm sounds by exiting the building immediately, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Modesto Fire and Emergency Services during Fire Prevention Week. And to accept the proclamation, we have Deputy Chief Jesberg, Fire Chief Alan Ernst, Fire Marshal Shannon Sandoval, and Fire Prevention Dog Sparky. Welcome. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council. As the fire chief, certainly our job is to respond every day out there and protect our community. And the fine folks behind me work very hard every day in our fire prevention to educate our community and our schools and deliver that message to keep our community as safe as possible. So on behalf of the fire department and the city, we appreciate this proclamation and thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome, and we greatly appreciate your service. Do we have any remarks from council members?
I do.
Right, Vice Mayor Wright.
July the 29th, 2011, my house caught on fire. And when I woke up and somebody banging at our door and went outside, there was 5 fire trucks out there ready to put probably about 300,000 gallons of water on my house. And but you guys do an amazing job. And after the fire, fire personnel came out with all of our clothing out of our bedrooms and everything. And they didn't have to do that, but they did that. So you guys do a great job here in the city of Modesto.
Thank you. All right, we'll join you and get a picture and present the proclamation. Welcome. Thanks for being with us tonight. Thank you. Right. Next is public comment period. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda, and each person has 3 minutes to speak. I will call the names from the blue cards in the order that I received them. Tina.
Hey.
Perez Tateo.
Third time's a charm, Mayor. Thank you.
Got to get the eyeballs on here. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Tina Perez Tateo, and I'm a proud member of the Modesto's Cruisers Council. Once again, I would like to ask you all to please lift the ban on cruising and to put it on the agenda. Behind the scenes, we've been doing our homework and attending multiple meetings with the lowriders and the hot rodders, trying to keep everyone involved and updated on our progress. I'd like to take a minute just to thank my few supporters that I have here behind me, and that the council really appreciates it. I have here for you a flyer. We are going to be having a cruise on October 21st. It's the Crush Cancer Cruise, hence my pink t-shirt today. This hits really home for me I lost my sister last year to breast cancer and also liver cancer. I've had quite a few members that have had some cancer issues. A niece at 38 years old that had to have a total mastectomy because she was diagnosed with the BRCA gene. So somehow, somewhere, the gene landed up in my family. We believe on my mom's side. But she's doing really well. From that, with the chief's blessing, Gillespie, thank you for letting us have this cruise. We appreciate it. It's, like I said, it's going to be in October, right here on 10th Street. We will have Relay for Life and the Cancer Society booths up there, so for anyone that needs information, and we also will be having donation, so anybody that'd like to donate. Let's see. Oh, also, we contacted all the businesses on 10th Street, and they all signed off with their signatures, so they're looking forward to that also, to bring more business on that night. So I would like to just personally invite you all to the cruise, and if anybody would like to actually take a cruise with us, I believe we, could squeeze you in. We have, I know Bob offered, Mr. Wright, but I have a car also. You could all hop in if you'd like to take a cruise around the block. Why not, right? And it's a lot of fun. Anyways, so I'd just like to thank you all. And is that okay if I hand you guys this so you can look at it? Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council
All right,
members.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, online, I see Flavio Huizar. All right, we're unable to hear you. We cannot hear you. Yeah. No, we cannot hear you at all, but we can read what you're typing in. But we will go to another in-person speaker and then come back to you. Louisa Bryant.
Mayor, council members. I'll stand.
Pull it down, you can pull it down.
I'm 5'2", you don't. Good evening. This is my sixth appearance before the council since March 8th this year, and there were 3 appearances before the Board of Supervisors. I'm here tonight to inform the council members that I now have irrefutable proof that management and maintenance knowingly and intentionally concealed a massive amount of wood rot and mold when maintenance replaced the panel in the ceiling of the patio roof on February 12th this year, and without a permit from the city. Maintenance carried out this unsafe and unauthorized repair, they had to know they were endangering the health and possibly the lives of their tenants. I have pleaded with city officials numerous times, including a meeting with 3 city officials on June 22nd, to help me and send a building inspector to inspect my patio ceiling and the balcony above for the mold and wood rot. The innumerable records, documents, and photos I have provided to the city will substantiate that city officials knew of these unsafe and hazardous conditions, but have still refused to send an inspector, citing various reasons, none of which have any reliability. On September 29th, I spoke with 2 officials with the city manager's office. After a long conversation, they agreed to send an inspector to meet with the owners to inspect my patio roof and the balcony above. They insisted the management did not need a permit from the city. I disagreed, citing Section 106 of the Uniform Building Code. When I had heard nothing from the officials, inspectors, or management, I visited the building inspection office on September 30th, spoke to the supervisor, who would not agree to send an inspector. Instead, he proposed a meeting with his other officials to discuss what could or would be acceptable. I have heard nothing. In my presentation to the Board of Supervisors, I addressed the inconsistencies in how the city applies the law. My allegations included forgery, misconduct, falsifying records, false statements, altering records, and malfeasance, among others. Since March 8th, owners' management were served with a notice of violation, which they ignored completely, with no follow-up or penalties or issuance of an administrative citation, citing Title 1, 2, whatever, of the Modesto Municipal Code. On July 23rd, tenant was served with a 24-hour notice to enter, to inspect and comply with Health and Safety Code Section 17973, which is for balconies, decks, and other exterior elevated elements. None of this which applies to my patio ceiling. I believe this was a glaringly conspicuous subterfuge by the owners to remove and mold and wood rot from the patio ceiling a second time, and again with no permit from the city. And now I have been served with a notice to permanently perform, covenant, or quit for failure to comply with this Health and Safety Code, Section 17973, which we have shown does not apply to my unit. I have no balcony. Of the many sources I have reached out to for help in understanding what this notice is actually demanding, no one, even the management, can explain the legal liabilities. On September 28th, the attorney at Senior Advocacy Network sent a fax to the attorneys and at this time of the owners, and at this time I have heard nothing. And I would like to remind the panel, I am 86 years old, I am disabled, and I would like to know when this horror show is going to end. And as I said, if you want that proof that I have, I can show you tonight. I've given you hundreds and hundreds of pages, but if you want the proof, there is mold in it, and it is dangerous. And I don't know how I can tell you people, somebody from this city, a city inspector has to come and look at that. Well, look at this, the pictures. As I said, it's unsafe, and there's a tenant above me who doesn't know how bad their balcony is. It's saturated with wood rot and mold in my patio ceiling. And I did have a reliable company come, and I don't mean present company, the city has failed to take into consideration the analysis, the testing, and all that was done that shows, in just the patio ceiling alone, 5,000 mold spore count just in my ceiling alone. The city does only visible inspections. They do not use air samplers and whatever. So, as I said, you fail to the 60 pages and the 12 pages of analysis and testing, you fail to even pay attention to. But there's something is going to happen, and now if you want, I can, however you want to know, I have the proof
All
that,
right.
that
Thank
it
you
is
for your
loaded.
comments. We hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your attention, and I appreciate it. Sorry for the breathing problem.
That's all right.
I'm getting better. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
You're welcome. Next in person, we have Nathan Sanchez. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I first want to go ahead and open up this public comment to give an open thanks and appreciation to Councilwoman Escuda Bratton. You ask why? It's because a short time ago, when we were privileged to host the Farm Workers March, and there was a need. I specifically spoke to one of the directors of the march, and I said, what is it that you guys really need? Waters, food, what nature when you guys come through Modesto? And in a sincere, sober voice, he says, you know what, Nathan? Of course, in Spanish, he's all shoes. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for goods. He asked for shoes. Something that we take for granted daily. And that march from Delano all the way to Sacramento, and I'm glad that it was a victorious outcome because of that. But he asked for shoes, and we reached out to the community, and I appreciate you for stepping up and donating that financial asset so we can purchase some shoes. And it was heartfelt from the farm workers itself. Thank you. With the last minute and 30 seconds that I have, okay, what I'm holding right here in my hand are signatures. Signatures for what? For the businesses from downtown. I know one of the requirements for the permit, of course, is the approval of the police department, which we got from our police chiefs. And one of the necessities is also signatures for us to close off 10th Street. Now, when I had a sit-down meeting with the individuals and with the owners to the businesses on the flyer, you could hear and you can sense their urgency for business in general. They were relaying how the pandemic took a toll on their business and still that they're reeling from the repercussions of that. And one of the reasons why we wanted to keep it downtown was to help build business for them. We could have planned the cruise out for McHenry Road, but there really wouldn't have been that much benefit for them. That's one of the reasons why we isolated it right there to 10th Street to close off the road. But not one of them hesitated. Not one of those business owners gave me question after question. But after I gave them the rundown on exactly what we're doing and what we're pushing for on repealing the ban, they were supportive of it. That's why we're asking. That's why we're here. Put it into consideration. To put it on the agenda. Let us know where this stands. That way we know how to approach it directly. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, all right. All right, online, I do not see anyone's hand raised. Do we know where the person went? Okay. All right, is there anyone else that would like to come forward to speak under public comment? All right. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. And as a member of the Modesto Cruisers Council, I support what Nason requests. We understand that it has to go before Safety and Community Committee, but the only way it can get there is somebody actually authors the memo or the request, and it has to be one of you. So we're hoping that you talk that you're supportive of us, but we would like to see the action of it to happen. We understand you have concerns. We understand that you're worried about outsiders coming in, creating an atmosphere like what happened back in the 90s. But it's more than that now. It's a different group of people, different mindset. We're requesting that you put a little faith in us, like we put faith in you. By allowing us to have that moment of lifting the ban of cruising, you're showing that you entrust in us to do our job and to help oversee, to to communicate, to keep in contact with other car clubs and other groups that want to be involved in cruising. Because it's more than just a ban, it's an oppression of a culture. It's an oppression of a lifestyle. And if we could work together, it can actually happen. Bless you.
Excuse me.
So, on behalf of the Modesto Cruisers Council, we do ask for your help in getting it to that point of the Safety Community Committee. Because we don't have that capability, but you do. So, thank you for the time and consider. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Loretta Carhart. What I'd like to first of all talk about is because of today on the radio this afternoon, I don't know if any of you guys ever listened to it, and I doubt truth if you do, but Modesto police know this gentleman. Mike is on the radio every afternoon now between 3 and 5 on K5. I wish everybody had listened to him at least one time, and on $1 Million Bet, you'll turn around and listen to him again. Today, what he stated about, I believe it was the governor, possibly the president, has made a new thing for people that if I'm out in the middle of the street, walking across the street, not on the corners, but any place, it's okay. They're just putting it through that it's okay. I'd like to know if the city even knows that. And if you don't, I wish somebody around here would start checking on it. There was one other thing, I did not write it down, and to be honest, I still can't remember it because a moment ago we had a bad wreck where I don't believe there's lights there, or not lights, but cameras. And that was at Needham and Virginia, there at that corner. But then the other thing I wanted to ask about is, if a person gets work done at their home of any kind, we have to sign a paper to okay it and all. No matter what kind of papers we get from anyone, can a person or can a business type in our signature that is not our signature on legal papers? I want to know, is it legal to do this? If it's not, I'd like to speak to someone, or in fact, I'd like someone to start talking to some seniors. It's not just me, but I found some other people that I know one company has done it, and now I'm finding out some other companies are doing it. You'll see it a signature, and now they're allowed to put signatures down no matter what we say or do. I've now found out that that's how they got me on reverse mortgage on my home, by doing that. And a business did it the same thing. And now I'm finding out it's being done a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to come forward at this time? I do not see anyone in person or online. So we will go to consent items. Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Yes, Mayor. Item 4, consider approving the minutes from the September 27th council meeting. Item 5, consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3750 CS.
You know what? Excuse me, I forgot to make one statement. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or a council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? All right, seeing none, is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? Seeing none, I'm sorry I interrupted you again, but I wanted to make sure I made that statement.
That's fine.
All right, continue, thanks.
I'll start over. Item 4, consider approving the minutes from the September 27th council meeting. Item 5, consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3750 CS, repealing and replacing section 10- 3.505 of Article 3 of Title 10 of the City of Modesto Municipal Code and amending the title of Section 10-3.506 of Article 3 of Title 10 related to termination of nonconforming uses. Item 6, consider approving an ordinance amending Title 6 of the Modesto Municipal Code, Business Professions and Trades by adding Chapter 9, Automobile Businesses related to the public streets and highways by automobile businesses. Item 7, consider approving a will serve letter and outside service agreement for water service for the property located at 6942 St. John Road. Item 8, consider accepting the annual investment report for fiscal year 2021-2022. Item 9, consider accepting an informational report for the August 2022 accounts payable payment register and void report. Item 10, consider approving amendment number 1 to the facility and fleet maintenance agreements between the City of Modesto and the Stanislaus Regional Transit Authority. Item 11, consider approving the third amendment to the agreement with Grover Landscape Services, Inc. out of Modesto for landscape services to extend the term period for up to an additional 6 months and increasing the amount of the agreement by an amount not to exceed $1,331,868. Item 12, consider authorizing staff to apply for all California Department of Resources Recycling and Recovery beverage container recycling grants available and authorizing the city manager or his designee to sign grant applications and related forms, accept grant awards, and amend the budget as needed.
Move to approve all consent items.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Canoyer and a second from Vice Mayor Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Canoyer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal.
You're muted, Councilmember Madrigal. Councilmember Madrigal, are you able to vote?
Mayor, he seems to have stepped away. Oh, I think he just unmuted.
All right.
Still
Looked
can't
like you
hear
were
you, Tony.
unmuted and now you're muted again.
Can you raise your hand if you hear us?
You could see, you could read it. Did you capture that I was an I? So you could read his I.
Okay, all right, so we have an aye. All right.
Councilmember Ricky
Aye.
and Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, so that carries 6-0. All right, do any of the council members have any comments and reports? Councilmember Ricky.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say I'm pretty excited right now about things that are kind of happening in the city right now. About a year ago, a bunch of neighbors from the Gear Court area and Helen over on the McHenry area came to me with, some real problems they were having with some local businesses parking vehicles and just basically misusing the neighborhoods. And so I went to the city and the city management and everybody, we all came together and we worked with the neighborhood. We were able to help them solve their problems, and tonight we approved an ordinance to make sure it never happens again. And it's just exactly how government is supposed to work, and I'm just really, really proud of what we did tonight. I'm also very proud of what happened this week in Grisada Park. We had another example of citizens, in this case, the Central Valley Pickleball Club, College Area Neighborhood Association, and City of Modesto's Parks and Recs Department all came together and opened up brand new pickleball courts. And it's not like the city just spent a bunch of money and built these pickleball courts. These volunteers volunteered over 2,000 hours of their own labor to build these new pickleball courts. And they're beautiful and they're full and people are playing on them every day. And it's really special. I also want to shout out to our local cruiser, supporters here today. Thanks for coming out. I love the fact that you're advocating for what you believe in, and I want you to keep doing that. It's the only way to make it happen. If you guys don't say anything, it's not gonna. And I'm hearing you, and I know everybody else up here is hearing you too. So let's just keep doing what you're doing. I'm also really pleased with the work the city's doing on the bulky item pickup program. We've got a bulky item pickup program that works really well, but it doesn't cover everybody, and right now it doesn't cover multi-unit housing. So the city is working to create a new program to cover people that probably need program more than anybody else, but right now don't have it. And I think that's exactly how government is supposed to work. So anyway, I just think that we're just having kind of a nice run here, and I just thought I'd shout it out.
Thank you. Are there any other council members that would like to make comments or reports? All right, does the city manager have any comments and reports? Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I am calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.